when I proposed to my girlfriend in a fancy restaurant. She stood up in front of all her friends and laughed at me mockingly. "Look at this guy," she said loudly. "He actually believes I'm going to marry him." My heart broke into pieces right there in front of everyone. A week later, she showed up at my new apartment looking completely broken. "My name is Daniel. I'm 32 years old and I work as a structural engineer at a medium-sized company in Charlotte. I'm not pretending to be the hero of this story. I'm just an ordinary man who thought he understood what real love was. I believed 3 years together meant something deep and lasting. I was wrong about many things, but let me start from the beginning. Her name was Betrayal. We met when she was about to finish her marketing degree, and I had been working for 2 years, finally feeling secure enough to think about settling down. She was incredibly attractive, not only gorgeous, but also clever, witty, and the type of person who could light up any room effortlessly. I fell deeply for her, perhaps too deeply. Now when I look back, I can clearly see the warning signs I chose to ignore. I covered them up because I desperately wanted to believe our relationship was solid. After 1 year, we moved in together. She wanted a stylish downtown apartment with huge windows and a beautiful view of the city skyline. I preferred something more affordable on my salary, but I gave in like always. The rent was quite high, yet I convinced myself it was worth it for our future. She paid her share when she could, but her freelance marketing work was unpredictable. Some months she earned well, other months I quietly covered the full rent without saying a word. That's what couples do, I told myself. By the 3rd year, I felt it was time. I had saved carefully for a ring, a beautiful princess-cut diamond on a platinum band that took me 3 months of salary. I decided to propose on her birthday, which fell on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Yes, it was cliché, but she always made a huge fuss about that day, so I wanted everything to be special for her. I reserved a table at Meridian, an expensive restaurant she had been eager to visit for a long time. She had invited 6 of her close friends to join us for dinner: Kelsey, Amber, Tiffany, Jocelyn, Sabrina, and Lindsay. They were all sitting there when I got down on one knee right after dessert was served. I had practiced my words many times. I told her she was my closest friend, my true partner, and the most important person in my world. I said I could not picture my life without her by my side. The ring box was open in my palm. The diamond sparkled beautifully in the soft candlelight. Instead of saying yes, she burst into loud, mocking laughter that silenced the entire restaurant. Her friends immediately joined in. Kelsey even let out a loud snort. Betrayal glanced around the table, then looked back at me and announced loudly enough for the nearby tables to hear, "Look at this guy. He actually thinks I'm going to marry him." The whole place went quiet. I could feel dozens of eyes staring at us. My knees were still on the hard floor. My hand was still holding the open ring box. "Betrayal," I whispered, my voice sounding tiny and broken. "Daniel, seriously," she said, still smiling but with clear cruelty in her eyes, something I had never noticed before. "Did you honestly believe this was going anywhere serious? We've had some good times, but marriage. You can hardly pay for this lifestyle without worrying for weeks. You think I want to be trapped in that kind of struggle forever?" Amber leaned toward Tiffany and whispered something. Both of them giggled. I slowly closed the ring box and stood up. My legs felt weak. "I'm sorry you feel that way," I said, somehow keeping my voice calm even though my entire world was crumbling inside. "I hope you all enjoy the rest of your dinner." I walked over to the server, took out my wallet, and paid only for my own food and drinks. Then I stepped out into the cold February night without looking back. Update 1, I drove home in a complete daze. The apartment was dark and empty when I arrived. Betrayal was probably still at the restaurant, enjoying her moment of triumph with her friends. I didn't waste any time. I grabbed my 2 large duffel bags and began packing everything that belonged to me: clothes, laptop, important work files, toiletries, and the framed picture of my parents from the bedside table. I left all the furniture we had purchased together, the dishes, and even the costly coffee machine she had demanded we buy. I spent that night on my friend Aaron's couch in his small 1-bedroom apartment in a quieter neighborhood. He didn't ask too many questions. Around 2 a.m., my phone started exploding with messages. Betrayal texted, "Where are you? Daniel, stop acting so dramatic. You can't just walk out like this. We need to talk." I switched my phone off. The next morning, I contacted our landlord. Although the lease was in both our names, I explained the situation honestly. I wanted my name removed immediately. He was surprisingly sympathetic, probably because I had never missed a single payment in 2 years. I told him Brielle could remain if she took over the entire rent, but that was now between them. I paid my share until the end of the month and walked away. I quickly found a small studio apartment in an older building close to my office. It was much smaller than our previous place, but the rent was reasonable and I could finally breathe easily. I moved in on February 19th, just 5 days after the proposal. Aaron helped me carry the boxes up 3 flights of stairs. "You holding up okay, man?" he asked. "I will be," I replied, and for the first time I actually believed it. The embarrassment still stung badly, but beneath it I felt something unexpected, relief. It was as if I had been carrying a heavy burden I didn't even realize was there, and now it had been lifted. I blocked Brielle's number and all her friends' numbers. I removed all social media apps from my phone. I needed complete silence and space to rediscover who I was without her. Work became my safe place. I poured all my energy into a new project, a complex mixed-use development on the south side that needed detailed structural calculations and innovative solutions. My supervisor noticed my increased dedication and praised my focus. I stayed late most evenings, partly because I enjoyed the challenge, and partly because my quiet studio sometimes felt too empty. On February 26th, Aaron sent me a text. "Hey, Brielle has been asking people where you're living now. Just thought you should know." I didn't reply. Update 2, she appeared at my door on March 3rd, a Tuesday evening around 7 p.m. I had just returned from work, still wearing my dress shirt and trousers, and was about to warm up some leftover Chinese food. 3 loud knocks echoed through my small apartment. I checked through the peephole. It was Brielle, but she looked nothing like the confident woman from the restaurant. Her hair was greasy and tied in a messy bun. Her eyes were puffy and red from crying. She wore an oversized sweatshirt and old yoga pants that looked like she had been living in them for days. She knocked again, this time more urgently. Against my better judgment, I opened the door but kept the security chain locked. "Daniel," her voice broke, "please, I really need to talk to you." "How did you find me?" I asked. I asked around. "It doesn't matter. Please, can I come inside?" "No," she looked hurt. "Daniel, please, everything is collapsing around me. I lost the apartment. I lost most of my clients. I don't know what to do anymore. That's no longer my concern, Brielle." "But it is," she cried, tears rolling down her cheeks. "It all started falling apart after you left that night. My friends have stopped talking to me. Kelsey called me toxic. My own mother won't answer my calls. The landlord evicted me because I couldn't pay the full rent. I've been staying with Tiffany, but she's kicking me out by Friday. Daniel, I have nowhere else to go." I should have felt some sense of justice. Instead, I only felt exhausted. "You publicly humiliated me in front of a full restaurant," I said quietly. "You laughed at me. You told me I wasn't enough for you. What do you expect from me now?" "I was terrified," she blurted out. "Scared of commitment, scared of losing my freedom, scared that saying yes would mean I'd disappear completely. So I panicked and said the cruelest things I could think of, hoping you would just leave so I wouldn't have to be the one who ended it." "And what were you really feeling?" I asked. "That I loved you. That I still love you. That I was a complete fool who ruined the best relationship I ever had because I was too arrogant and blind to appreciate what I had." I looked at her through the small gap in the door. She appeared completely shattered. A small part of me wanted to believe her words, but another part clearly remembered the sound of her cruel laughter in that restaurant. "Brielle, I can't do this. I'm not asking you to take me back," she said quickly. "I know I don't deserve that. I'm only asking for a little help, just for a week or 2 until I get back on my feet. I'll sleep on the floor. You won't even notice I'm here. You need to leave. Daniel, please. I'm sorry your life has fallen apart. I'm sorry you're suffering. But you made your decisions, and now you have to face the results, just like I had to face mine." She stood silently for a long moment, staring at me through the narrow opening. Finally, she nodded slowly, wiped her tears with her sleeve, and turned away. I watched her walk down the dimly lit hallway, her shoulders slumped, her footsteps sounding heavy and defeated. I shut the door, locked it, and stood there in my tiny studio. wondering whether I had just done the right thing or the most heartless one. Update 3, I didn't hear anything from Betrayal for the next 2 weeks. I focused intensely on my work again, returned to the gym, and tried to rebuild a normal routine. Aaron invited me out for drinks one Friday evening, and I actually accepted. We sat in a sports bar watching a basketball game I wasn't interested in, drinking beers that didn't really taste good, but it felt almost normal. Then on March 18th, I received a call from an unknown number. Something told me to answer it. "Daniel, it's Kelsey, Betrayal's friend." It was the same one who had laughed the loudest that night. "How did you get my number?" "That doesn't matter. Listen, I need to tell you the truth about what happened that night." I almost ended the call. "I don't want to hear it. Please, just listen." "You deserve to know." Something in her tone made me stay on the line. "Fine, speak." "That night at the restaurant, it was all planned, every single part of it." My stomach sank. "What do you mean?" "Betrayal already knew you were going to propose. She had found the ring receipt in your jacket pocket a week earlier. She didn't want to marry you, but she also didn't want to be the one who ended the relationship. So she created this whole plan. She told us exactly what to do, laugh when she laughed, make cruel comments, make sure you felt completely humiliated so you would walk away on your own. She said it would be easier than having a direct breakup conversation. I couldn't speak. "I know I'm a terrible person for participating," Kelsey continued. "I've felt guilty every single day since. But there's more. The reason her life fell apart afterward is because Tiffany posted the entire story on Facebook, calling Betrayal out for being manipulative and heartless. It spread quickly in our circle. Her clients saw it, her mother saw it, everyone saw it. And they all turned their backs on her. Why are you telling me this now? Because she keeps contacting me, begging for help. She says the only way to repair her reputation is to get back together with you. She wants to twist the story and make everyone believe it was just a misunderstanding. She doesn't truly love you, Daniel. She's only desperate." The line went silent except for my heavy breathing. "I'm sorry," Kelsey said quietly. "I'm sorry for my role in it. I'm sorry it took me this long to speak up, but you needed to know before she tries anything else." She hung up. I sat on my couch, still holding the phone to my ear, trying to process everything. The proposal humiliation wasn't a moment of panic. It was cold and calculated. She had turned her friends into an audience and made me the joke of the evening. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed with a text from another unknown number. "It's Betrayal. I'm using Tiffany's phone because you blocked me. Please, I'm begging you. Can we meet? I need to explain everything. I'm staying at a motel on Wilkinson Boulevard, room 237. Please, Daniel, please." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I took a screenshot, saved it as proof, deleted the message, and blocked that number as well. Final update: 3 months have passed since that terrible night at Meridian. It is now early June, and my life has completely changed. I received a promotion at work to senior project engineer, along with a good salary increase and my own small team. The major project I had worked so hard on was finished ahead of schedule and under budget. My boss made it clear that my hard work had been noticed. I moved into a nicer apartment, still simple, but with more space, plenty of natural light, and a small balcony where I can enjoy my morning coffee peacefully. Aaron introduced me to his girlfriend's colleague, a woman named Heather who works in hospital administration. We went out for dinner, not at Meridian, of course, and talked easily for over 3 hours. I don't know if it will become something serious, but it felt wonderful to connect with someone new, someone without any baggage of betrayal or games. As for Betrayal, I heard through mutual acquaintances that she moved back to her parents' home in Ohio after running out of options. Her once carefully managed social media accounts have gone completely silent. I haven't checked them myself, but Aaron's girlfriend mentioned it casually. I didn't ask for more details. Kelsey sent me one final message in late April. "I know I have no right to ask, but I hope you're doing well. For what it's worth, what happened has changed how I view loyalty and real friendship. I've left that friend group. Some things can't be forgiven." I didn't reply, but I appreciated the message. The ring is still sitting in my dresser drawer. I haven't been able to take it back to the store yet. It feels like giving up somehow. Maybe one day I'll give it to someone who truly deserves it. For now, it remains there, a quiet reminder of the worst night of my life and the stronger person I became afterward. I rarely think about Brielle anymore. When I do, it's not with rage or sorrow. It feels more like remembering a distant acquaintance I once knew. The old Daniel who loved her deeply and believed in their future is gone. I am someone different now, perhaps a bit more guarded but definitely wiser. I've learned that real love should never make you feel small, force you to constantly compromise, or turn you into the punchline of someone else's joke. A couple of weeks ago, I was walking through uptown after work and saw a young couple at an outdoor cafe. The man was on one knee, holding an open ring box. The woman had her hands over her mouth, tears of joy in her eyes. She said yes, and the people around them clapped and cheered. I paused for a moment and watched. I felt no bitterness, no jealousy, only a quiet hope that they would do better than I did. Then I continued walking. I had my own life to live. Many people have asked if I ever got proper closure or confronted Brielle directly after learning the whole thing was planned. I didn't. What would have been the point? She made her choices, set up the situation deliberately, and then had to deal with the consequences when it exploded in her face. Confronting her wouldn't have changed anything or made me feel any better. Sometimes the healthiest closure is simply walking away and never looking back. Edit, yes, I started seeing a therapist in April. Turns out having your public proposal turned into a cruel joke can seriously damage your ability to trust others. Therapy has been very helpful in processing the anger and the feeling of being completely deceived. I highly recommend it if you're going through something similar.